there, and welcome to this week's edition of the Huddle, basketball version.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Ruth Lang, here with Mike Brown, sports editor. We're going to start off talking about some basketball action for the high school girls. And Sebring girls are coming off a win at home against Southern.
Right.
And then Alliance girls didn't fare quite so well over the weekend, though.
Right, yeah.
Marlington girls, they also had a loss, but two other wins in the area were Minerva and Southeast.
Right, yeah. I think overall, Ruth, it's been a pretty good winter for the girls' teams. The Alliance girls are still young, but they've won a game this year, and they're getting better. The Marlington girls are having a great year. They're 9-5. They are coming off a win over Northwest. That was a special Monday night game. And Sierra Maley had a big game in that game. And the West Branch girls are having another great year. I believe they've only lost one game this year. And, they're coming off a win. They've got a big game. They're coming off a game with Carrollton Wednesday night. And those are the two top teams in the NBC. So, a lot of good things happening. The Sebring girls, they lost their top player. But she's going to be back. Kelsey Settle, they lost their top player. They've been without her for a couple games, but she's supposedly going to come back here in a few weeks. So that's really going to help them as they go through the season, get ready for the tournament.
And for the boys, Sebring, again, is coming off a loss for the boys. Marlington, however, took a nice lead over Suffield on Saturday. Alliance also coming off a win Saturday against Louisville. But they just had a hard home loss Tuesday against Canfield.
Right. That's one where Alliance has been without leading scorer J.J. Kukura for the last two games. He was out with a 2-game suspension. He will be back Friday night, but they won a game against Carrollton without him. Or I take that back. He actually played in the end of that game. They won the next game without him on Saturday, and then lost a tough game to Canfield on Tuesday night, Ruth. They lost that by 10 points. They rallied back. They were down by like 20 points and rallied back, got within like 4 or 5 points, and then just couldn't get over the hump there and lost that game by 10 points. But Alliance is in first place in the NBC, having a great year. Marlington is having a great year, Ruth. The Chris Andrews led them in the win over Louisville last week, and those two are 1-2 in the NBC. And I could see it staying that way. There's going to be, when they meet, that's going to be a good matchup in the second half of the season. And West Branch got a win. They've only got 3 wins this year, but they got a win over Minerva last Friday night. Kip DeShields had 17 points in that game, so it helped the Warriors. I believe that was their first league win too. They'd had 2 independent wins, but they didn't have a league win. And Sebring is coming off a tough loss to Mineral Ridge on Tuesday night. They went on the road, and Mineral Ridge is really good this year. And Sebring was kind of playing catch up the whole game and just never got back to where they had hoped to, and lost that game 59-44.
That's never a good position to be
no,
in,
it's
trying
not.
to fight from behind like that.
It's definitely not, Ruth. And it's something where you want to take command early, and then you can make some adjustments when you're kind of in the catbird seat, as they say. But boy, if you get behind early, that makes it a lot tougher. It really does.
So what are some of the action that we have coming up this week?
Yeah, in girls action, the Sebring girls, they're going to return to action on Thursday night. They're going to go down to Wellsville for an Inter-Tri-County League game against the Tigers. And again, I believe Sebring's still going to be without their leading scorer, but she'll be back fairly soon, but they'll be without her. So, they're going to have to play pretty well down at Wellsville. And then this weekend on Saturday, we've got the Carnation City Classic, as I like to call it. The Alliance of Marlington girls will play on Saturday afternoon. And that's going to be out at Marlington. That's their second go-round this year. And like I said, Marlington's going to be looking to keep it rolling. Alliance is looking for steady improvement. And they have gotten improvement. I think Lee Hood's done a great job with that program. And I think if they just stay the course, things are going to work out real well for them.
Well, they've been strong defensively.
Right.
They need to execute on the offense and get those buckets.
That's right. And also a big game on Saturday, Ruth. The West Branch girls will go to the prestigious classic in the country down in Berlin, Ohio, which they only invite the top teams throughout the state to play in this tournament. And the West Branch girls are going to be playing Fort Loramie in the first game of the tournament at 10 a.m. on Saturday. And Fort Loramie is the defending Division IV state champion with a lot of good kids back. So that's going to be a great game, I think, on Saturday morning.
Strong matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Any other games for boys action?
And then boys action this weekend, we've got a full slate on Friday night. We're going to do the Alliance boys. Because Top Gun is going on this weekend, the Alliance boys can't be playing at home on either Friday or Saturday, so the Alliance boys are on the road both nights. Alliance goes to Canton South for an NBC game on Friday night, which could be a good matchup. Those teams like to get out and go with it. The Marlington Dukes will host the Carrollton Warriors on Friday night. That's an NBC matchup. And Marlington will be looking to keep it rolling too. And West Branch has a rival game Friday night in the NBC. They'll go to Louisville to play the Leopards, and that'll be a tougher matchup for West Branch. Louisville's playing pretty well, especially at home. Louisville's tough at home. And Sebring, like the girls do on Thursday night, the Sebring boys make the trip to Wellsville on Friday night, and they'll play the Tigers in an inter-tri-county league game down there. And then we do have one Saturday boys game this week involving an immediate area team, Ruth. And that'll be the Alliance boys are going to play the Northwest Indians. And that's going to be in the North Canton Hoover tournament. Alliance has played in that in past seasons, and they're in there again. And they're going to play a former NBC rival. Northwest isn't in the league anymore, but that's who Alliance drew in this tournament. So they're going to be playing the Northwest Indians on Saturday over at North Canton Hoover High School. So a full slate of games this weekend. So looking forward to it.
And keep your eyes peeled for coverage in the print edition of the Alliance Review and online at www.the-review.com. Thanks, and have a great week.
Mm-hmm.